Well, how y'all doing? I think this is like, our third lesson on talking about framing. And let me just say at the beginning that it's kind of dark and rainy outside today, so I'm using this video light up here, where before we had actually talked about using natural light coming through window. But either way, and these are quite cheap. I bought a couple of them in Canada. They're just LED lights, made in China, and you could turn them up and down, change the color on them from white to kind of that yellowish warm color. And so I use it a lot. I keep it actually in the living room or in my office or whatever. And I will use it for like taking family photos. Here's a family photo of our El Shaddai Christmas celebration last week. Christmas in February, okay? But that's because, this is the only time we can get together. But so I just throw that light up and I can take a really good photo even in the dark, right? So at nighttime. All right, so let me first of all say that this way, right, is for TikTok. This way is for serious stuff like Facebook and YouTube and anything that's going to be shown on a device like a computer or whatever. This might be good for showing stuff on your mobile phone, but stick to this because it'll go farther and it has more use, and then you can do more with it too, and we'll see about that in a moment. So the camera on the back of your phone, right, is better than the one on your front, so that's what we're going to use. And whether you're standing or sitting, you want to have this camera, well, you want to have all cameras at eye level. Is that eye level? I don't know, not really. It's down a little bit, right? But it's close. So that's really important because it makes people feel comfortable. When we talk to people in real life, we talk in pretty well at eye level, unless you're really tall or really short. But that's the kind of the comfortable thing. And along with that, you want to have your camera about the right distance away, It's not natural to be talking to people like this. It kind of freaks them out. And if you get back further, so it does look like it's kind of a natural distance away, people will be more comfortable. One of the issues with mobile devices is that the cameras in them are like wide angle cameras. So they're trying to capture more space in a smaller focal length. And what that actually does, well, it does two things. It makes your camera appear farther away than it really is, and it makes your face distorted, okay? I'll show you that in a second. And then the second thing is how far up and down, sideways you want to be in the frame. And that's where what we call line of thirds comes in, okay? So you want your eyeballs at the line of thirds. So if you draw a line across your phone screen 1/3 of the way down, then that's where you want your eyes to be. So you can be up close, with your eyes on the line of thirds, or you can be back further with your eyes on the line of thirds, and you'll have a space here, okay? But that's what you keep constant, is you keep your eyeballs on that third top line. Okay, so there's a third line up and down as well. So if you're shooting somebody this way, you're going to put them on the third line here, right? There's a line here that's a third of the way into your screen. Or if they're shooting this way, you want them on this third line, because you don't want it to be like this. It looks weird because your nose is up against the edge of the frame then, okay? Then the other thing that you can do, and this concerns the law of the lines of thirds as well, is you can move over here, and now you've got room right here to put your scriptures. And I'll do that a lot when I'm teaching. Just have the scriptures scroll by here, or just in a box, or on a plate, whatever you want to do. And then the next thing you want to watch for is what the background looks like. I've moved myself over. I started out like here, and I don't like that because it's got this white thing coming right through here, and it's distracting, right? So if you go over here, it makes it look like there's nothing pointing the wrong way or whatever. Okay, so here's what you really want to watch for. So if I pull this iPad over here, for example, and I'm shooting here, how does that look? You can see what happens. Some guys, you got a tree growing out of the top of their head, they got a plant growing out of their ear, right? Or a light bulb growing off their shoulder, whatever. We talked about that, right? No light bulbs, no lights in the background. Now see this chair? I don't need that there, right? So get rid of it. See anything else in the background that you might want to move? Some white things showing up over there. Pillows on the couch. Let's get rid of them and make things as plain as possible. The more distance you can put between you and the wall, the less distracting what's behind you will be. Another thing that's really important when you're shooting yourself is your posture. Okay, now I'm sitting up straight on a hard chair, and I find that either that is good or else standing up. I actually like standing up if I'm like announcing something or, excited about something. Otherwise, I just want to be on the edge of my chair. But one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to sit back down here on your sofa or whatever that's really soft and comfortable, because then you lose your top thirds. Now my eyes are halfway down the picture? It looks silly because you got all this room here with nothing in it, wasted space, and it just looks, I don't know. Yeah, don't do that. Okay, so if you're on your sofa, that's fine, but move your camera down. What you're wearing really is important as well. It's good to wear something that's in contrasting color with the background. It just happens that I put on this, whatever it is, colored shirt, and the background is blue. That's a good contrast. Another thing you can do is if you got a dark background, you wear a lighter shirt. If you got a lighter background, you wear a darker shirt. That always helps as well. And look sharp. Comb your hair. Well, I try, right? Your dress and your posture is very important because not only does it give a visual, but it also changes the way that you present yourself, the way that you talk, your level of confidence and those kind of things. Okay, now here is the pro tip when it comes to framing. And you may not like this one, but it's just the way it is. Mobile devices. I don't care if it's the iPad or the iPhone or whatever phone you might use, or the little camera in your computer, distort the image. Here's an example, okay? If I take a picture with my iPhone from a weird angle, say from up top, notice how big my forehead is and my chin is now small, right? That's over perspective. That's beyond the real perspective, right? My forehead never gets that big. In fact, you can make your daughters or your granddaughters cry by taking a picture with your mobile phone from up high, and it makes them look like they got a really fat head and their feet go down to like nothing. Try it, do it. See what happens. See what happens, Grandpa. I think there's only two of us that are grandpas in this thing, Pastor Rich and myself. But your turn's coming. It's going to be sooner than later. To fix that, you cannot fix it in your phone. Now, they're getting better software and that kind of stuff. But the real way to fix it, because it fixes a lot more than just that, is to use a real camera. And this is the difference, okay? So this iPhone here is 3 feet from me, which is, and exaggerates it and looks like it's 5 feet from me. How do I know? Because if I move this camera away and I look into a real camera that is 5 feet away, I get a picture that's not distorted at all, that is really an accurate representation. And this is the way that you and I would, in fact, this camera is on the other side of the table, and this is the way that you and I would talk across the table. And that's why this picture here looks so much more natural. And then, of course, the other thing is that the light is much better, right? I mean, a real camera, this is not an expensive camera. These little Canons are cheap. In fact, they're almost giving them away now. But you see the difference in the picture, in the natural look of the picture, okay? So if I put my iPhone that same distance away, or almost, because it'll fall off the table, it looks like this, right? So it really is distorted. And the only way to really fix that is to get a real camera. Now remember, this is a pro tip, all right? So I'm not telling you to go out and buy a camera unless you want to look pro. I've got, actually one of our students has just bought one yesterday, another one. And so we have three of my media students now have bought these cameras. I have 2 of them. The church has 2 of them. The Victory Church here has 2 of them. They're just cheap and you end up with them all over the place, you know. And it's really, really worth it. So there's your pro tip for today. Get a real camera. And the beautiful thing is the LCD flips around. I can see exactly what I'm shooting. I can see exactly what I look like, whether it's this camera here or that camera there, I can see it and I can point right to the lens, and that's where you are. And also with the real camera, notice what it does to the background. Notice what it does to the colors. They're just bright, they just pop. But a real camera handles the colors so much better, and the light. So there we are, framing, okay? You want to be a TikToker or you want to be a YouTuber? Keep it at eye level, line of thirds, imagine a third. But see, notice that camera over there. Even that it's still far away, where are my eyes? A third of the way down the picture. Now you can break that rule once you know it, but you got to do it on purpose. Check your background, check your dress and your posture, and then go and buy a camera.